Things are cooling off, so we want our bellies to heat up. Make this lasagna soup with me and you will not be sorry. I started with 2.5 pounds of ground chuck and a pound of Italian sausage that I put in my Dutch oven pot. Once I got both in, I began seasoning it, and I used some seasoning salt, onion powder, garlic powder, paprika, black pepper, Mrs. Dash onion herb, and Mrs. Dash garlic and herb. I began breaking that up, and once it was all brown, I added in my vegetables, which is a half of yellow bell pepper, a half of red bell pepper, a half of green bell pepper, and a half of yellow onion, along with a can of tomato paste and a carton of beef broth. I used a little bit of beef broth from another carton just for more liquid. And then I stirred that all together to incorporate all the ingredients that I had put in. Once that was stirred together and coming together like I liked, I began seasoning it again with some basil, Italian seasoning, and some oregano. I added a jar of ragu spaghetti sauce, and I stirred that in together. And this is going to make for some really smelly food in your kitchen. It smells so good. Once it came together, I put a lid on it for about 25 minutes and began breaking up my box of lasagna. And once I took the lid off, it was boiling and everything had come together so well. I went ahead and started adding my lasagna pieces to the pot. And once I got all the lasagna pieces in the pot, I stirred it to make sure all of the lasagna was covered in meat and sauce. And once that was coming together well, I went ahead and I added a pint of heavy whipping cream, and this is the game changer. Once I put that in, I stirred it together some more. You can see the color changing, you can see the consistency changing. It has thickened up, but it is still very soup-like. And once that came together, I added in a bag of Parmesan cheese. And I put a lid on it for 25 minutes. And this is after I took the lid off. I stirred it to incorporate that Parmesan cheese a little more. And it began to be even more thicker at this point. But it was still very soup-like. And after it had come together the way I like, I added a bag of mozzarella cheese. And once I added that bag, I put the lid on again. And I let it go for about 15 minutes. And this is it. Afterwards, I started to stir in the mozzarella cheese. And this is the finished product. Listen, you will not be sorry. Please give it a try.